Hello, 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 and welcome to Rainbows Rising, where we ascend together. Here, we alchemize pain into power and awaken the sovereign within. I'm your host, Rainbow Raja, spiritual healer and transformational coach. I'm not a gatekeeper, so I shared the hush secrets of mystery schools and approach spiritual concepts from a grounded yet playful so you can rule your reality. We don't bypass darkness here. We face our dark night of the soul and conquer it. We explore energy, consciousness, and the unseen forces controlling and shaping your reality so you can reclaim your voice, your truth, and your path. Because after the storm, you reign, you rise, and ascend. Welcome to the show. This week, we are diving another layer deeper into the physical plane. Last week, we talked about some of the rules that govern the physical plane and how you can adapt yourself to those rules to get the most out of what this physical world has to offer. I'm going to briefly go over those rules because they do apply to the practices that we're going to cover today that are going to give you a little bit more structure on how to apply those rules in your everyday life so you can really receive the harvest of your labor. So today, the first rule that we covered last week is consent over your reality. In order to be able to experience spiritual things that are outside of the norm, that are beyond what we normally would consider to be plausible, possible, comprehensible, we have to give the universe consent to share the mysteries beyond the veil with us. We have to say, hey, I am curious in seeing what is possible out there. Hey, universe, I want to experience magic. I am asking for you to show me more. Show me more. I want to see what's beyond my current understanding. Curiosity. That is the first step in having spiritual, enlightened experiences. You have to take that initiative. You have to give the universe consent to show you what more is possible. And the way that I look at this is there's that saying, mind over matter. Well, our mind is in control over all matter. So if we take that small idiom, that small little law, our mind over matter, in order for our world to be shaped in the way that we want, our mind has to open those doors. It has to allow those perceptions in. If we don't believe in fairies, even if you experienced magical situations, you would always just say, oh, that's just coincidence. It was a trick of the light. You would never be curious enough to engage with that energy and see it for what it truly is because you aren't open to that experience. So rule number 1 of this reality, give consent to seeing beyond what you think is currently possible. Number 2, we talked about the golden rule. Now that golden rule, treat others the way you want to be treated. But others refers not just to humans, that also refers to the tools we use, the beings we work with, and yourself included. You work with plants, animals, crystals, you work with your food even. Treat all things the way you want to be treated, and treat yourself the way you want to be treated. Stand up for yourself the way you want to be treated. And we broke that down into how karma and dharma works based on the golden rule. Next, we have intention. Setting an intention for what you want. This is your goal setting. This is your vision board. This is like, I want that mansion. But beyond wanting the mansion, beyond wanting the fame and the money and the friends and the love of your life, beyond wanting that, we talked about the importance of understanding the root of that intention, the conviction behind your intention. Is it a heart-based desire? I want a big mansion because aesthetically, I love the look of a mansion. That feels like that would truly represent who I am. I know that that would be my happily ever after. Like, I can just really see myself having an incredible life living in this mansion. Or is it, I really want that mansion because I want everybody to know how popular I am, and I want them to know how successful I am. And I've always wanted a castle and a mansion for status, because then I could throw really big parties and have a bunch of people like notice me and know how like rich and famous I am. Intention matters. Get to the root of why you want what you want. The key is recognizing when your intention is heart aligned and when it is sin aligned. And I know that there are those out there that are not necessarily like Christian or Catholic. They're more shamanic based or Buddhist based. But I do believe that there are a lot of truths that are spread throughout all the religious practices. And they're all clues to the ultimate truth. And in order to connect to the ultimate truth that is our universe, that is our reality, we do have to take all of those little clues and put them together like a big old puzzle. So I've been working more with Christ consciousness in the last year. And so I am taking a leap of faith, literally, and putting it out there in my teachings more, because I know that I've been very, very private with my faith and my connection with God. I've been a lot more open with my shamanic practice and with Reiki, because those were supported by the spiritual community a little bit more. But I still do a lot of shamanic work. I still work with Reiki. I haven't stopped doing any of the things I do. I still do tarot readings. I'm just being more transparent about the full depth of my practice and all the different facets of what I do and how I connect with spirit and with the realms around us. And I've noticed that looking at the sins, looking at pride and greed and lust and sloth, and really looking at those sins and going, okay, well, a little bit of them every so often is to be expected because we're human. But if you are living your life from those sins and you are making decisions from those sins and they are actually impacting your decisions, you should be aware, because those sins could be fueled by wounds. They could be fueled by other entities. We're going to get into that more later this season. But it's really important that your intention is coming from a place of love and connection and of service, and not from a place of sin. That whatever you want, that you are truly wanting it from a deep place within your heart. And the last one, which we briefly touched on, and I went back and I listened through and I was like, man, I really should have put more attention on this last one, is the level of investment that you are putting into whatever it is. So in this reality, where your attention is, like, that's where the energy is going. Where your attention goes is where the energy flows. That's the little saying for that, right? But if you are putting your attention towards watching TV and watching social media, you're doom scrolling for many, many hours. If your attention is going into being not involved in your own creations, if you are not investing in yourself, even if you feel that you don't have a lot of money and you're not investing your resources back into yourself, back into your career, back into your life, you're afraid to put money down on your own future. What you invest is what you will get back out. So if you're not putting a lot of time into yourself, you're not putting a lot of time into the relationship that you have, if you're not putting a lot of time into your creative endeavors, if you're not putting a lot of time into your own shadow work, you won't see growth in those areas. This entire reality is about how much are you going to focus on that thing that you want. What you put in, you'll get out. Trust me. So that applies on a lot of different levels because energy comes in a lot of different forms. And so for that particular putting an investment in, what you put in motion will always stay in motion. So what you invest your time, your energy, your focus, your resources into will continue to thrive or to grow or to excel. If you're just sitting there scrolling, that's going to create an addiction. If you are spending your time on vices, that's what's going to continue growing. If you spend your time weaving illusions in order to get people to think a certain way about you, like, you're going to create more illusions, more deceptions, more delusions in your reality. So be very careful about what you're investing your time and your energy into, because that is what you will get out of your reality. So taking into consideration, those are the laws that govern our reality. I highly, highly recommend that you start to contemplate those laws. Start to journal. Like, really take some time and journal to understand how your mind is working. How are your thoughts and your feelings affecting your reality? Are you reactive to your reality? Because that's an investment too, right? So you can use any old journal and start to ask yourself some questions like, how far on my spiritual path do I want to go? What do I feel comfortable interacting with? Do I really want to deal with ghosts? Do I really want to deal with aliens? Do I really want to go down the rabbit hole with the different types of beings that are in other realities? Where do I feel comfortable? Let's look at the golden rule. Let's see, how do I treat others? Write down all the ways you treat people well. Write down all the ways that you treat people poorly. Go ahead and look at how you treat yourself. What do you allow others to do to you without setting boundaries? At what point do you cut people off? Should you be cutting them off sooner? Really start to dissect your life so that you can understand your avatar, your character, and see how your character has created the reality you live in. Look at the intentions behind some of the goals you've set in your life. Why did you pursue that job to begin with? Did you lose that intention at some point in your journey? What is your current intention with your current goals? Are you being honest with yourself about those intentions? Is it just for money? Is it just out of fear? If it's out of fear, it's not out of love. So then really look at all your investments. If you want a successful business, how much money are you putting into marketing? How much money are you putting into the systems that you currently have going in your business? Are you are you paying to upgrade your equipment? Are you paying people to help you? Are you investing in yourself? Are you going and getting your hair done? Are you going and improving your quality of life and getting nice clothes so that you can provide the best version of yourself at your job, right? Invest in yourself. Obviously, be responsible with that. 20% investment in the self. But it's important to know that in order to get more money going, you got to spend some money to get more money going. That's just how the money world works. So with that, getting a journal, being able to work with manifestation. I actually have a journal on Amazon, which I have put in the description show notes. This is the self-reflection journal. The great thing about this journal is it's only $14. I'm not about promoting. I made this journal for myself. I'm going to be 100% honest. I was in a really low place in my life, the worst place of my entire life. The man that I loved for 10 solid years, and I had made so much sacrifice for him. I had built my whole life around him. He left me, and I was in such a low place. He had like taken everything. He had taken everything when he'd left. I had lost my support. I was really struggling with my health, with my MS. My whole lifestyle changed. I was suddenly responsible for everything. And the rug was just ripped out from underneath me. And knowing what I know about the spiritual plane and the physical plane, I needed something to ground me when everything was in shambles. My whole world had fallen apart. And so I made this journal, not for clients, but for myself. I made this journal because I was like, I want to manifest my own dreams. Because what I thought was a dream come true obviously wasn't. God's rejection was a blessing, I guess. God's rejection was my protection. So in that way, I'm grateful that all of that happened. But I know for me that this particular journal helped me get my feet back on the ground and instantly manifest changes in my reality that I didn't think were actually possible. Like I channeled my vision for this journal. And I was really, really grateful that it came through that way. So it has like little exercises and practices, but every single day you've got, just want to make sure. Ba-doop, ba-doop. Doo-doo-doo. Okay. Just try to make sure this is a good one I can share. So like every day you've got like, what did you dream every night? How are you starting the day? 3 priorities to focus on. So those are like 3 things you want to get done during the day. You've got your affirmations, your moods, and a reflection. A whole page over here for reflection. So every day you've got 2 pages, and this journal goes through 4 months. So we have over 300 pages. It's a very thick journal. And in this journal writing, I take you through 4 different months. The first month is creating a routine and creating stability in your physical reality. The second month is transmuting energy and learning how to transmute energy within yourself and how to be more in control of your inner reality. The third month is shifting your reality. So transmutation happens within you. That's the alchemy stage. And then shifting your reality, that would be like actually being able to apply those inner changes into your external reality. And the last month is the manifestation month. And that's where you are creating, like you are actively seeing your manifestations coming into your reality and anchoring them into your reality. Now, I created this journal for myself, and I actually like completed an entire one. I'm on my second one right now. This is my second journal. I do this for myself. It's my second journal. I've already completed one whole journal. I think this one was my first journal, but you can see I filled it up. This is like, I completed it. There's a couple blank pages where I only put my morning whatever affirmations, or I had to skip a page because I ended up like writing something on the page. But there's very few blank spaces in the book. It's primarily It's primarily filled up. It's very involved. Very involved. So I know it's helped me. There is a huge piece of me that believes that my current friend circle and my current partner and my living situation that I'm currently in was all manifested through working with this journal while pairing it with my own practices. But I do think that this journal created the container for me to be able to script my reality the way I needed it to be and shift myself like super fast in like to go from a place where I was practically homeless with my children, not in a good situation, with not any stability and being like really medically impaired, to suddenly I had a lot of friends who were very supportive. I was removed from this very toxic environment and situation. I moved into a place that is just, it's a dream. It's a transition space, but it's what exactly my family needed. And to be united with this kindred spirit who is just the kindest, sweetest person I've ever met, who has the same dreams and goals that I do. You know, he's super handsome. I'm not complaining, but he came out of nowhere. He came out of nowhere. He just dropped into my reality while I was writing in my book. I wrote down the type of man I wanted and boop, there he is. I wrote down what I wanted to see change in my life. I was like, I don't want to be in this situation anymore. Boop, situation gone, in a much better place. I personally feel that putting time and energy into creating this book for myself did more for me than a lot of things I've done in my life, and I want to share it with you guys. So if you're interested, it's $14. It's a big book. And remember the fourth rule of our reality: investment. You invest the time in the practices, in writing down your dreams, in writing down your reflections, in making sure that you're engaging with yourself and your universe and what you're trying to manifest. You too can go from a really bad place to like a dream come true. You don't even know. The the next practice I would like to recommend is working with the conscious universe. Maybe you've never heard of conscious universe. Well, our universe is aware of us as we are aware of it. And if you've never played around with that concept, you are about to have a lot of fun. I personally discovered that this universe was conscious of me early in my life because I was always quite the loner. I was an only child. My parents worked full-time jobs and I was strange, so I spent a lot of time alone. And being alone so much, you kind of talk to yourself and to your environment. And when my environment started to respond back to me, oh, that's exciting. It's a very exciting. So the practice that I'm going to share with you today about interacting with the conscious universe, I'm going to actually give you two different practices so that you can try them out and see what works for you. The first practice to connect with conscious universe, I'd like you to go somewhere quiet, somewhere where you won't be interrupted or distracted. Go into your bedroom, go into a closet, go into your bathroom, go in there, close the door, lock it, pull out a candle. You're going to light your candle. The candle is not to do anything, it's just to create a focal point for you to practice connecting. So with that candle flame lit, you're going to take some deep breaths into your body, allowing yourself to slow down from your long day, allowing your energy to soften, to relax into the space where you don't have to do anything. There's no one asking for anything from you. reason that we go and we find ourselves in this nice, relaxed, receiving state of just being at ease, allowing yourself to fully be relaxed in your body and in your space. This is the space where our mind can finally, where our body can relax and the muscles will loosen, release their tension, where our nervous system can put down its guard. You can just listen to our environment. So, in this relaxed state, you're ready to receive. Your brain is able to get into it's a different frequency. So it's putting out different waves. When we are relaxed, we become like an antenna and a transmitter for the universe. So once you're in this relaxed state, all you have to do is speak to the universe, to God, just to the matter that exists all around you. Universe, I'm reaching out to you with my heart. Universe, please send me 3 signs in the next 24 hours that you can understand me, that you are conscious, that you are here to collaborate with me, to co-create with me. Send me 3 signs that you are open to creating a life with me in the next 24 hours. You just sit. Feel your body when you're speaking those words. Feel the space after you speak those words. It's an invitation. You are engaging the universe to connect with you. For that particular situation, I just asked for the universe to send proof that it could hear me, that it could respond to me. And I had 3 little gnats come out. So it was ironic because it's like instantaneous for me because I've been doing this for years. I've been doing this my whole life. But when I teach this in my Victim to Valiant online course with Dr. Blake Dennis, we teach working with the conscious universe, and we teach how it does take time to build up these skills, to build up a responsiveness with the universe, because a lot of us, when we start, we don't even believe in it ourselves. We don't believe it's possible for the universe to respond to us. We don't believe the universe can hear us. How many times have we prayed to God and God never answered our prayers? How many times did we ask for help and we weren't heard? Yes, we're used to not being heard. But you have to trust. You have to say, you know what? Right now in this moment, I am trusting that the universe can hear me, that it wants to co-create with me, that it's ready to send me a sign, that it wants to be present with me, that it wants to deliver blessings to me. It's been waiting for me to co-create with it. The intention is so important. Being able to give a narrative to what you're doing. I know that there's this online viral saying that Delulu is the Salulu. And to be true, that is what you need to do. Being Delulu is the Salulu. It really, truly is. So let's be Delulu together by telling ourselves the conscious universe is our friend. It's the friend we always wanted that never showed up because we didn't know that the conscious universe was our friend. So ask the conscious universe, say, hey, I want 3 signs. If you have a favorite animal, say, I want to see that animal 3 times in the next 24 hours. Send me flowers, send me feathers, give me confirmation, send me a sign. Keep in mind, in the next 24 hours, a lot of the signs that you will receive, especially if this is your first time, are going to be very subtle. So you have to work on increasing your awareness of picking up on subtle signs and also following your intuition, because you might be called to take a random walk in the middle of the day. You might be called to go to a specific coffee shop. Or while you're driving somewhere, you might kind of space out and miss your turn and just keep, instead of turning around and going down, you might be encouraged to keep driving in that direction. And it's important that when you start to work with the conscious universe, that you work on awareness and you work on really listening to your inner guidance system. You work on listening to your own intuition. You have to listen. I promise you do this practice, the universe will send you signs. You gotta look for them, and you gotta really listen to your own intuition and do what is being requested of you through your inner guidance system. The second conscious universe practice, this one is recommended by Dr. Blake Dennis. He actually tells an incredible story about this practice and how he did this practice in the Victim to Valiant classes, which are online on my website. This practice is like a consciousness walk. So you would pick a particular trail or a paseo if you live in Southern California and you know what that is. Or you'd pick a sidewalk, a nature site. You would want to pick a specific place and take a nice leisurely 30-minute walk. As you're going along this walk, you don't have your phone, you don't have your headphones in, you don't have somebody else with you. You are just on a walk for yourself. The first thing that draws your attention, whether it's a plant or an animal or a rock, something special, something different, the first thing that draws your attention, you are going to consider it a gateway. It is an invitation to engage. You're going to go over to it, or you're going to direct your attention to it, and you're going to engage in a conversation with it. If it's a rock and you can pick it up and hold it, that's what you're going to do. But this particular practice does require some level of experience in being able to get very quiet within yourself, to meditate to a certain level, to hear the messages coming through. And anybody can do this. It just takes a little bit of focus and a lot of letting go. You pick up that rock, you touch that tree, you bring your attention to that bird, whatever it was that drew your attention that felt different or special, the very first thing, and you're going to engage in a conversation with it in your mind. You don't have to speak it out loud. And you just say, hello. And notice, does that bird interact with you? Does that tree suddenly have the wind blowing through it? Do you hear anything, feel anything as you touch that rock? Notice. You have to listen with your body. You have to listen with your energy. You have to be still. Be open to receive. It's like emptying yourself so that the information can come into you. And you can have a dialogue with it if you are getting information or if you are seeing a response with it. So, oh, look, it's a woodpecker. I'm going to send this mental, hello, woodpecker. It stopped pecking. It's looking around. Good day to you, woodpecker. Are you enjoying the worms of that beautiful redwood? Pausing so it can respond. It has now flown from the tree to a closer branch. Interesting. What kind of worms have you found today, little woodpecker? For some reason, it told me termites. Interesting. Do you have any other messages you'd like to share with me, woodpecker? When I hone in and I put my focus on one thing, I will get the rewards. That is the message. Thank you so much, woodpecker. Thank you so much for your wisdom. Thank you for sharing. Moving on, walking down the path some more. The second thing that draws your attention, you're going to do the same thing. It is a doorway. You're going to imagine that it is like a gateway that is opening up a new layer of reality to you. You can start to ask more involved questions. Hello, multicolored rock that I accidentally stubbed my toe on. I think that that was a sign I should sit down with you. Place hand on rock. Oh, rock. Isn't it a nice day? Pause to feel it. I feel tingles in my hand. That's interesting. Rock, what wisdom do you have? If you don't look where you're going, you might stumble and fall. This is where you'd go a little deeper. Rock, can you tell me a little bit about quantum jumping? The rock says that time is an illusion, that only when we learn to suspend ourselves in time can we truly slip through the measure that is what we perceive as time. It is not linear, and as a rock that is stationary, they just transport their awareness to different eras, different moments, different feelings. And that is how you can quantum jump or you can visit other timelines. Thank you, Rock, for sharing that wonderful nugget of wisdom. I am so grateful that I took the time to stop and pet you for a second. Pet. Pet. I hope you have a wonderful day, Rock. May you not be kicked in the face by the next traveler. On to the third. You wander about and you're on your third. This tree looks relaxing to sit beneath. It just looks like a nice, peaceful tree. I like the way it looks. It's got these weird hobble nobbles. I'm just going to sit beneath it. Thank you, tree, for your shade. I'm going to close my eyes. What's it like to be a tree? As I close my eyes and connect to this tree and get myself nice and quiet and still, I begin to get this full body sensation. I'm going to relax deeper into this full body sensation. I'm going to allow myself to expand into it. Wow, I just got the awareness of this entire area. I can feel the street that's way over there, and I can feel the building that's behind me over there. I can sense the animals moving through the ivy over there. And I have this omnipresent sensation that I have never had before, where I am interwoven with my environment. This is such a neat feeling. I am so grateful I took the time to sit beneath this knobbly tree and that I asked it to share its experience with me because I was curious and consenting to interact with it. And my intention was pure. And I invested the time and the patience to connect with it. And now I have an awareness that tapping into my entire environment or an entire city is possible by tuning into the plant kingdom. I am so grateful for this new perspective and wisdom about the physical world. Man, I'm so glad that Rainbow Raja taught me this on Rainbows Rising. Sorry, I went into it. So that's the practice. And as you move through these gateways, you go deeper and deeper. And you can do it as many times as you want on this walk. Choose how far you're going to go. You take a walk and you allow yourself these moments of pause, of connection, and of intention, where you are allowing your environment to teach you through being conscious that your environment has something to teach. Okay? That is probably one of the most powerful ways to start to really learn how to work with the physical realm, as the physical realm is alive and you can become very involved in interacting with it. But for those of you who think that's a little too woo-woo for you to go and try just yet, there are other ways to utilize the physical realm and to be able to harness the energies of the physical realm to get your manifestations or to meet your goals. Next practice that I'm going to encourage you to utilize is using physical action as manifestation. So exercise is a powerful, powerful tool because an object in motion stays in motion. If you are moving your body, if you are active in your realm of reality, whether it's working out or walking or dancing or jumping jacks, but you're doing it, you're moving your body, you're taking walks regularly, you're climbing, you're going on trails, whatever it is, if you are moving your body, you are allowing yourself the experience of building physical strength, which also will build your spiritual strength, your emotional strength, your mental strength, because you are anchoring in what endurance feels like. You are anchoring in what determination feels like, because it takes a lot of determination and endurance to push your body to certain limits and to overcome the physical restrictions that your body may have to reach certain goals. It also will build confidence because when you're moving your body, you get all these feel good endorphins. You might be sore the next day. You might not like exercising because it's effort and it's like not always, it doesn't feel good all the time. But the reward is you have more energy, your body is healthier, you feel more confident, you look better, you are just vibrant with like this new sense of life force. And because you're moving energy through your body, you're also moving energy through your reality. You will have a lot more resources of energy to input into certain manifestation things that you want to manifest. You want to put your attention on getting the love of your life. If you're diligent with your exercise and you're putting yourself in a place where during your exercise, you're thinking about the type of relationship you want, the type of investment they should be putting into you. How do you want your relationship to feel? And while you're exercising, this is your focus. You use exercise as a meditation for manifestation. You will be so surprised. You add exercise into your life just a couple of times a week and watch. Watch as things move in your life. Movement is something you should have in your everyday life. At the very least, 3 times of dedicated, devoted physical activity a week. A lot can change. A lot can change very quickly with exercise. The second physical action to be utilized as a form of manifestation or manipulation of our physical reality that I recommend is dance. And we're not talking, just normal dance, like using dance as a creative expression. That's just ecstatic, like ecstatic dance, not choreographed, not a specific type of dance, but turning on some kind of music, any kind of music, closing your eyes and letting your body move freely to the music, however it wants to move, and you getting out of your own way to let your body move through whatever it needs to. When I first started doing ecstatic dance events and I was going to this group that is local, they meet up every week, and the first few weeks you're dancing for like an hour to 2 hours of just solid dance. You're not really supposed to stop. You just move your body, you move to the music, and there's a bunch of other people. I was really nervous because I had only danced like that privately in my own room. I had never been in front of other people like that, but everybody there, I just closed my eyes and I just let myself go. I let the emotions of what I was going through move through me. I allowed the music to move me. And when I allowed the music to move me, I ended up tapping into so much cathartic, stagnant energy within me. I was moved to huge emotional releases about 2 or 3 ecstatic dances in, where I had danced for a total of like 4 hours. And at that point, I was like crying out like heartbreak that had really been stagnant in my body, or this sense of abandonment or rejection, being misunderstood. I was like able to get to this emotional release just by letting my body move and invest, like the investment of putting all of my effort into dancing 100% the entire time. Yes, I would stop and get some water. Yes, if my body started to hurt or something felt like I stretched it a little too much, I would go, I'd sit down, I'd take some deep breaths, I'd stretch out the area that hurt, but I'd jump right back in. So I highly recommend looking and seeing if your community has any ecstatic dances around, somatic dancing, whatever. Even if you don't, just turning on some of your favorite music, putting the lights down low, and having a big open space where you can dance to your heart's content. Even putting on some headphones, like pop those headphones on and just go dance in a field in the middle of the night. I used to dance in a tennis court in the middle of the night when I was a teenager. I would just go into that tennis court, I'd turn on my music, and I would dance for hours all by myself before static dance was a thing. This was like back in, God, it must have been 2007. I don't think ecstatic dance was well known or kind of a thing at that time, but that's what I would do. I would just dance and I'd cry, and then I'd lay down on the floor of the tennis court and stare up at the stars and talk to the stars. And it worked. It was great for helping me process my emotions. It was great for helping me move things and for getting clarity in my mind, for expressing myself in a way that words couldn't truly express, for playing out dynamics and storylines through the movement of my body. My body was strong. It held memories from past lives. It held memories from things I had forgotten. And dancing wholeheartedly allowed me to tap into those and to release them. And the very last physical action that I would recommend for manifestation would be to start and tend a garden. The reason I recommend tending to a garden is because a garden truly is the perfect model for how to plant and nurture and grow your own personal goals. When you are tending to a garden, when you are planting a garden, you first have to prep the soil. Prepping the soil is like planning. It's like assessing and looking over all of your options. What do I want to do with myself, right? So you're prepping the soil. You're checking out the space. You're putting down some compost. You're loosening up everything. You're getting everything nutrient dense. You're taking care of business. That's you looking at the possibilities, really looking at the scope of all the things you could possibly do with yourself, the scope of your hopes, your dreams. Then you're going in and you get your little seedlings and you put you're seeding your seed into the soil, and you're waiting for those seedlings to sprout. So you're watering them. You're making sure they're getting adequate light. You're tending to them. You're making sure that no cats eat them before they get big enough to go and plant in your bigger planters or in your garden. You're protecting them. You have to remember to water them. You have to remember to put them in the sun or they die. It's the same thing with your dreams. It's the same thing with your relationship. It's the same thing with your work, with your passions. You want to get good at being an artist? Well, if you don't put in the time to nurture your talent, it's never going to blossom. You're just always going to just be kind of okay. When you are tending a garden, you can choose specific plants. And those plants, they do have spiritual and metaphysical qualities. If you really want to make a ceremony out of this, you want to make something like very, very special about the garden that you're tending to, you can go get a book like Cunningham's Magical Herbs, and you can choose specific plants and flowers based on the intention that you're trying to cultivate this year. Let's say you really want abundance this year. You go through the book, you pick plants that are going to support your abundance. You pick plants that are going to increase prosperity, that are going to increase money flow, that are going to help you with determination and devotion and dedication to your job, that are going to give you focus, give you confidence. Those are the types of things you'd want to put in your garden. And then you take the time, you plan out your garden by looking into how much space each plant takes up, the types of sunlight the plant needs to thrive. You plan out your garden. You create little diagrams. My partner, he's the gardener here in this family, and he draws out entire illustrations of the garden he's making, and he painted a little diagram of like, this is where the hydrangeas are going, this is where the tulips are going, and he like hand drew and painted all the flower areas, made it so cute and so pretty. He put so much time into nurturing this concept and understanding that each plant is this living organism that needs to be tended to and loved and cared for and nurtured. And that when you're putting that time and that energy and that focus into nurturing this plant, it will grow. And you apply that to your goals, your accomplishments, the things you want in this reality. And you set your intention with your garden as you plant that seed. This is the seed of a Lamborghini. I'm planting the seed. Boy, I've always wanted a Lamborghini. You're the Lamborghini seed. I love you. I can't wait for that blue Lamborghini. That's why I planted this blue forget-me-not, so I don't forget it, because I forget how to water plants all the time, because I got ADHD. So you plant your forget-me-not, and you're like, boy, I can't wait for this Lamborghini. I'm not going to forget about it because it's a Lamborghini and it's a forget-me-not. I like doubled up so that I don't forget, because that's me. That's what I would need. I'm going to water it. Not too much, or I'll drown it and then won't sprout. Not too little, or I'll dry out and it won't sprout. Just right. Just like the Three Little Bears, just right. Once it's got a little growth on it, oh boy, it's got its little 2 leaves. I'm so excited. It's a baby. Come here, baby Lambo. Come on, baby Lambo. Let's go. I'm gonna plant you in the garden. Boop. Pat the soil all around. I'm gonna talk to the Lamborghini. Why? Because I want it to manifest in my reality. Okay, little forget-me-not. Don't forget that you're helping me manifest my Lamborghini. So I'm gonna tickle your soil with love and affection, because I really want that Lambo. And I really care about you, because you symbolize my manifestation. Tickle, 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 tickle. I love you. I'm gonna pour you with my love. Love, love. I'm gonna come back every day and water my little Lambo. No, it's got some aphids. I'm gonna cut off the leaves with the aphids and mix up some tea tree and water and put it in a water bottle and spray that thing down to keep the bugs off. Boy, it's been a couple of months. And interestingly enough, all of that time and attention that I've put into my garden, I've also somehow received an increase in financial wealth and abundance. I don't know how, I don't know why, it just miraculously has happened. And had I not set these intentions, I probably wouldn't have noticed how those two things are correlated. Interesting. Now I've put all this time and attention, and it's getting so big, and it's getting so big. I'm just going to keep giving it love. Keep giving it love. Might take a couple of years if it's a big manifestation. Now, the thing with gardening is knowing when the fruit is ready to harvest, knowing when your manifestation is ripe for the picking. Gardening teaches you that. Gardening teaches you how to notice what parts of your manifestation are dead and dying and need to be trimmed. Gardening teaches you how to train your manifestation in a different direction if it's if it's growing in the wrong way, or it's not growing the way you'd like it to, if it's somehow stunted in its growth. It teaches you to be aware of something outside of you that can't necessarily communicate with you, and how it asks for different things. Gardening helps you become more fluent in energy and being able to see energy and read energy. And you can apply that to your manifestation, to your job, to your relationship, to your life. So gardening is something I highly recommend as a practice to cultivate a connection with the physical plane, to learn how to rule your reality. So that's it for this week. I hope that you guys enjoyed the teachings this week. Next week, we have John Graham joining us. He's phenomenal. He has been so many places. He has had such a wild life. He is one of the founders of the Giraffe Hero Project, which is an organization that he and his wife founded about finding everyday heroes in our world and really putting them to the forefront to inspire others. He's going to talk about how he believes that inspiration and applied action are the most important tools of learning to navigate our physical reality. I'm so excited to have him on next week, and I hope you are too. Thank you so much. And once again, if you're interested in my journal for manifestation, check the link in the description to purchase it off of Amazon. I'll see you next week. Bye.